Well, we've went 4 seconds and the stream hasn't crashed, so we're into a winner here, David.
Hang on.
Good afternoon, Regan Elite. Oh, yeah, we have your Facebook on.
Gingers, we're looking up your place. You're in New Hampshire, and we're both interested to know whether you're near Portland, Portsmouth, Massachusetts. Oh, well, in actual fact, you wouldn't. That's over the border, isn't it? So Portsmouth, Portland, Lewiston, Augusta, Waterville. I mean, it looks a hell of a place. And right in the middle of it, it's White Mountain National Forest. That must be beautiful.
David,
right on I-93. Sorry.
I wasn't interested in myself. I've seen a house.
Yeah, it's just obviously we've got somebody from the USA. It's nice to know whereabouts you are and all the rest of it. That's interesting.
Hey.
Anyway. A lot of my family are from Vancouver, and I've got one of my family in Vancouver Island that's absolutely stunning.
Yeah. That's the first of the Facebookers in. Hi, Regan Elite. Hey, folks, been watching this young fella cook up with a channel called Sarosa. He's quite good. Alistair's put a link in, I think. Aye, he's put a link in for Regan's channel and all. Maybe got all sorts in as well. We'll see. Anyway, David, because we didn't have the show this morning, we're going to have a mishmash of both. Because let's face it, we couldn't get away from the Orange Man this weekend, could we? So
we talk about You've got through to the Orange Walk call centre. Hello there.
Save that to when we get to the start of your spanner. We're talking about the big fucking Orange Man baby at the moment. Anyway, we're going to mishmash both programmes, folks. So what we're going to do is, as well as talk about other things like the Joseph Rowntree Foundation report and things like that, which we'll segue off into. We're going to start off with the best headline of this morning, the best newspaper headline this morning. It was a fucking, it was a stoter, and it could well explain Trump's behaviour. All right,
stoter.
An absolute stoter.
A stoter, yes.
Let's
again. There we are, that's better.
US booze backlash over tariff plans. Trump hits the bottle. Now, that could well explain the fucker's behaviour, that's for sure.
Everybody's been trying to explain. I saw a picture of Trudeau trying to explain to him about tariffs and what it actually does. And he just, next. Thank you, Lorraine. Thank you very much, darling. Peter B, don't worry. We'll make sure it goes to that. But with young Master Trudeau was talking to Trump, and he was trying to explain to him about tariffs and how they work and all the rest of it. And Trump's one of these people. He's a narcissist, and he knows everything. As far as he's concerned, he knows everything, and you know nothing. And that's it.
I need to put this up, because this is going to be a funny programme. Donnie claims they drink alcohol. Well, you know what? Then this headline doesn't explain his fucking behaviour, that's for sure.
No, in actual fact, the last statement there, only Diet Coke. That's the one. There's aspartame in Diet Coke, and what it does is it actually destroys brain cells. We've done it. We've answered the question as to Trump and his behaviour. He drinks Diet Coke.
Trump, as you just pointed out, is a narcissist who thinks he knows everything, right?
Yeah.
So, do you think one brain cell Bailey drinks Diet Coke as well?
To Western other pies.
Oh dear. Thanks very much, Margaret. No, they're flying in now. Are there any pea banks either? The same thing as the food banks. We got another one here.
Oh dear.
Funds
Thank
for
you
the
very much,
hamster to
Alistair.
stop the technical issues. Thanks, Alistair. But anyway, so now the problem we've got is nurse, Trump's on his meds.
Yeah, that's right. And he's drinking Diet Coke.
Yeah.
He's drinking all that aspartame.
Anyway, what did Trump think? Did he actually think he was going to get to throw his weight about and the whole world would kill him? A fucking idiot.
Well, the problem is he's going after Europe, right?
Yeah.
He's saying the UK's behaviour is terrible, but the EU's behaviour is really, really, really bad, right?
Aye.
So he's definitely going to impose tariffs on the EU. The EU are saying, yeah, don't bully
David,
us,
I know
right?
you wouldn't have heard the debate on a BBC Scotland this morning with called Kate, called Conservative Kate, Kate Adie or whatever her name is. No
I
Kate
try
Adie.
not to listen to. I try not to listen to that because it gives her an extra listener.
Anyway, the debate this morning was, should the UK get closer to Europe or should it get closer to the US? And guess what line? Guess what line the state propaganda machine here was pushing?
Get close to the USA.
Correct.
What? I honestly, that is. If by any chance Starmer was contacted by Trump, and
Thanks, Alistair.
well done, Alistair. Thank you very, very much. And Starmer was asked, "You want to be the 51st state? We'll give you all kinds of benefits. You be the 51st state." And Starmer said yes, without a referendum, without anything. Yes, I would absolutely expect our SNP government to say, right, you doing that? UDI. That's it.
Well,
Universal Declaration of Independence. And that's the one situation where I would say UDI is the way.
We spoke about this, and there's a couple of obstacles to the UK becoming the 51st state for a start.
Oh,
there was maybe a trade-off between the monarchy and the presidency.
Yeah, and also the Treaty of Union, blah, 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 right?
There needs to be another Treaty of Union. Remember, there's already two.
Yeah.
But the UK has recently changed its constitutional status without asking the people. Do you remember what that was?
That was Northern Ireland.
No, it wasn't.
No, it was.
No.
Northern Ireland was one of them.
Recently, David. Head in the game recently.
The devolved parliament.
No. More recent again.
Fuck's sake. Go on then.
Joining the Trans-Pacific Trade Partnership without a referendum.
All right. Okay. If you imagine, yes, that did require a referendum, but the most important change to the treaty was the devolved government. The original Treaty of Union should have been torn up, and it should have been devolved government. That's it.
That should be. If we were going to keep the union together, it should be federalism. But never mind.
Aye, true.
Is Starmer going to capitulate to Donny? Well, Jesus, Lauren. Some drink.
Lauren. Right, okay.
Right, that was fine. Skin tone, Lauren.
You've been dangled.
But coming back to Starmer. Interesting is Spin Doctor McSweeney's just penned a tell-all book about his rise, and in it he states that Starmer's no leader; he's just a fucking HR manager.
Yeah, that's right. In actual fact, you look at Starmer, and he has got no leadership, charisma, or kudos whatsoever.
No, he has not.
Yeah.
He has not. But it did make me reflect on Labour. And Tony Blair started his premiership, Queen, and ended as a war criminal. Keir Starmer is starting his premiership as a fucking war criminal.
Yes. Yes.
You know, and we were on Labour. Let's go spiralling off on a segue here. Did you see the Joseph Rowntree Foundation report?
About the kids getting the 2-child cap or the rest of it?
No, what it stated was that the only part of the UK where poverty was going down is Scotland. And by 2029, Scotland's child poverty level should be 1 in 10. Whereas, because we're doing away with the 2-child cap, of course, as we know, the Labour government is dragging its heels and giving us the information so we can get rid of that fucking cap.
No, let's look at what governments, illegal governments, but governments that bandy about with figures, what they do. They look at that and they go, oh, hell, our child poverty figure's going up. Right. Well, what we'll do is we'll change what constitutes poverty.
Aye.
Right? We'll say the only children who are in hospital on their deathbed through malnutrition are counted as in poverty. End of. Everybody else is fine. Yeah?
Go with it.
What's the line?
Anyway,
what's the line? What's the line?
We want to kill you, Mr. Bond.
No, we want you to die, Mr. Bond.
I tell you, he doesn't like that one. He doesn't like that one.
Hello, Charlie.
Well, anyway, that brings us, the Joseph Rowntree Foundation a report has brought out some really interesting things. Charlie, you look at my face. It's brought out some really interesting things. And that was Rachel Reeves getting interviewed and being asked about her policies driving children further into poverty when Scotland's policies is lifting children out of poverty. You know, and what she said was, suck it up, buttercups. We need private investment and growth in order for us to get out of this in England. No, you don't. You just need tax reform. But the other interesting thing about it was, it then had the debate happening in England about the differences between the social policies in Scotland and the social policies in England. Helena, No Justice, and on Sunday morning, the Sunday roast, Welsh fellow, and can't remember what his name is, and he was talking about free prescriptions in Wales. And the presenter of the Sunday roast, Political X, Al, he was sort of shocked. He went, I thought it was only in Scotland to get free prescriptions. And the other boy, the other co-host of London or Big Madge. Anyway, the boy says to him, no, they get free prescriptions in Wales. And then up comes a comment, and in Northern Ireland. And the two boys in England were like, what? Fucking what? We're getting done over down here. And then Helena No Justice that night, when we're talking about the Joseph Rowntree Foundation and their report, and this was UK-wide coverage.
Yeah.
The child poverty in Scotland's going down while going up in England and all other parts of the UK.
Yeah.
You know,
but they were talking, I believe what you were saying was it could be as much as 1 in 3 children in England are living in poverty.
Yeah,
1 in 3.
2029 here, Joseph Rowntree Foundation reckons that child poverty will be down to 1 in 10 here in Scotland.
Yeah, well,
which is still too much.
No, what's going to be interesting is that Scotland are going to dispel the 2-child cap, right?
Mm-hmm.
When is that going to happen?
Supposed to happen 2026, but Westminster's dragging its heels and giving us the information.
Right, doesn't matter. Let's say that we go, right, we're going to drop the 2-child cap, right?
We are.
And it becomes policy for the SNP. Yes, we are. Right, fine. That means that Starmer is going to have to take an opposite position on that to support his Chancellor. Yeah?
Yep.
And at the end of the day, if there ends up being a scrap between Scotland and England on that one, that's going to be a very interesting discussion, don't you think? Why?
Well, I'll tell you what's going to happen. Once we get the information that's needed under the world settlement, when we put the act through Parliament, it will not get signed into law.
Yeah, and effectively, what we can do is we can use that as a very, very political blunt instrument to hit Starmer over the head.
But what was interesting is the way Rachel Reeves getting interviewed. It was quite clear we were dealing with robots and no people, because she was being asked about, her hell bent on growth, even to the point where her policies are driving children into poverty. And what she had to say was, we need growth to be able to lift them out of poverty. Instead, he just said, well, we'll invest to get ourselves growing again. And that's the only way to do it.
We're going to introduce a tax that's going to hit the most well off for a few quid to actually pull these children out of poverty. That'll be easy.
We need major wealth redistribution, and the only way to do that is to tax the bloody wealthy.
Correct. And in actual fact, in the past, in Labour, that was going to be their big push, was we're going to tax the wealthy to help redistribute funds so that the people at the bottom of the pile were brought up a little bit. End of.
David, you and I just watched Professor Klaus Schwab in the World Economic Forum, and how he set about the corporate takeover of governance in 1972.
Keep it simple, because it's dreadfully convoluted, right?
And that's what led to Thatcher selling off the public services. And it didn't just end there. We then had successive governments like Tony Blair's and the Conservative administration just put out, and this one. And they're subcontracting out government services. So it's a corporate takeover of governance, and it's being perpetrated on us by the people who we elect, because they are now all part of the World Economic Forum. So Starmer and Reeves was at Davos, as all the finance ministers worldwide were at fucking Davos.
To the uninitiated, right? You've all heard this name Davos many times in the past, right? Seems to be a once a year occurrence where all these people, or these leaders, businessmen, all the rest of it, all go to this place called Davos. They all have a bit of a gin wag, do a wee bit of horse trading, all the rest of it, right? But there is a plan at work. Now, I talked in the past about Conservative, the Tories, that we were actually seeing the back end of a plan, and the plan has been successful. Now we've got a wider plan that takes that and pushes it on to the next stage. So all I can say, lads and lasses, if you're in Scotland, get ready for a fight. Get ready. I'm not necessarily talking about a physical fight. I'm talking about a political fight.
Well, right. David, as I say, one of the other things that people, because nobody knows much about the World Economic Forum, because nobody pays any attention to them, but just Google Professor Klaus Schwab, and you'll get his idea.
Or WEF, the World Economic Forum. That's easier. You might not get the spelling of Schwab correct. World Economic Forum, WEF, WEF.
Anyway, right. Professor Klaus Schwab will come up and he'll give you an outline of his idea, where it all started from, and what the different phases are as we get near the end game. But what people should know about how dangerous this World Economic Forum is, they are actually training our politicians of the future.
Yes, that's right.
In
actual fact, as we both found out, it's like young Master Trudeau, and also the French froggy, what's his face?
Macron.
Macron. Both of them have been trained by the World Economic Forum.
Aye. And there's sort of, but there are other nut job mobs out there that are actually producing our leaders as well, with the Henry Jackson Foundation and all that.
Oh, yeah.
Richard Murphy
Yeah.
was involved with right-wing nut jobs. But let's take us back to reality here.
Willie's bucket has had it. Willie's bucket has had it right on the nail, right on the head. Put it up.
One world government. One world.
Yeah.
David, I don't want to get too far in this rabbit hole. I don't.
Right, one world government, absolutely spot on. And what Schwab talked about was he talked about a non-for-profit organisation. That's a core of it, and that allows all the different leaders and all the rest of it to talk to each other across the board table and as shareholders as well, right? And it's not for profit, but then you've got tagged onto that all the other organisations that are for profit.
And that's a corporate takeover of governments. But I don't want to get too much that. I want to get back to talking about Rachel Reeves' drive for growth, even at the cost of freezing pensioners, even at the cost of shoving children into poverty, even at the cost of killing the disabled,
even at the cost of saying that it's all going our big charge for growth is going to come into fruition in 2050. I was going to swear there, but anyway, I won't.
Sounds a bit like Jason Rees-Mogg to me. Brexit will fulfil the benefits of Brexit in 50 years. What Rachel Reeves has just admitted was that the bollocks that she spilled out last week that we were talking about and her plan for growth was exactly that, bollocks.
Yeah.
You don't have any money to do it.
When any government that's got a maximum tenure of 5 years, like the Labour government have got, right, start spouting about things that are going to happen in 25 years, start saying to them, come on, get real.
As I say, but what was interesting about looking at the last Labour administration and this Labour administration is the last one ended with the replacing the war criminal with a fucking idiot. I wonder how long it's going to take to replace the war criminal who started his tenure as a war criminal. You know, but let's move on, shall we? Hey.
That was good. No, I enjoyed that. That was good. That was better than our old format. So
hey, you can't have it. It's mine. Anyway, let's move on to a Scottish headline that had us pissing ourselves laughing, shall we, David?
Aye.
Right.
Sorry.
Let's pop this one up. This one had me pissing myself laughing. And you and I were talking about this. It's a non-story. It's a funny non-story. Let's see where we end up with this time. Hold on, we'll put it up back.
Oh, yes. Oh, yes.
Cracker, this one, isn't it? It's a 1.5 billion for NHS piles on pressure over service. And a Institute for Fiscal Studies, in other words, Tufton Street fucking idiots.
Yes.
Say that they need to shorten waiting lists because of the extra investment in the NHS. That's a given.
Well, you notice that this particular headline won't appear anywhere else because the headline probably has been written for them. And it doesn't mean anything whatsoever. It's just, what's the word? Hubris, right?
It's propaganda.
And it's propaganda, yeah. You did right. It's a way whereby they can go Scotland shite, NHS shite, and doesn't matter if they're 1.5 billion behind or 1.5 billion in front, they're still going to be under pressure.
Let me write this headline 3 months ago. This headline 3 months ago would be NHS under pressure because of underfunding.
Yeah, that's right.
Now they're getting extra money. Apparently they're under pressure because they've got extra money.
Yeah, yeah.
So,
well, listen, guys, we've pointed this out, right? The reason we point it out is purely and simply to show up what the Scotsman and
Yeah.
a certain think tank are all about.
It
Do
doesn't
not.
matter whether it's a good news here in Scotland. It's not like a bad news story.
Yeah,
I
correct.
take you work
Absolutely.
in the NHS right now, and there's a lot of your audience, they work in the NHS. I take you working
Yep.
it right now because you're under pressure, whether you're doing well or you're under pressure whether you're doing no, or whether you're not doing well.
Yeah.
And everything's always a fucking emergency. You know, but here we have a good news story. Increased funding for NHS, and they turn it into a bad news story.
Yeah. Remember, the NHS is very reliant on the people that run it, right? At the moment, we have a government that have control of the NHS, and they are, even though I would like to see John Swinney replaced as the First Minister, however, the NHS is under the control of Neil Gray, and he is a good boss for the entire network, the NHS in Scotland. If we end up with bad people in control of the NHS, it'll go down like that. In actual fact, they'll probably be on the phone to Wes Street and go, "Hello, Wes, can you come and arrange a purchase of the Scottish NHS for us, please?"
Well, anyway, as I say, it's a non-headline. It's a fucking infuriating headline because before the announcement of the extra funding in the budget, the NHS was under pressure and the staff were under pressure, and now they're under more pressure. Oh, what ball!
Let's be honest with this, right? There will be people within the NHS, within the Scottish NHS, that are under pressure. We appreciate that, right?
Especially
if people don't turn up for work for a particular ward, then what happens is that means that people are in the ward, run the ward, are under a lot of pressure to cope with that, right? We know that. We know this, right? However, the Scottish NHS, if compared to other NHSs in the United Kingdom, is the best.
Wayne, we get that.
We're not.
We know that the
We're
majority.
We're not saying that we make people out of solid gold. We don't, but we do know that the Scottish NHS is better run and all the rest of it.
Point. It's a good point.
Yeah.
The point they're making is that the increase will mostly go on higher wages. That's true. If there's no change to waiting time, etc., the SNP will fail. Wayne, the problem is they're not telling you. Neil Gray is getting waiting times down.
Yeah, that's right.
They're just no bloody well telling you.
Yeah.
That would be an SNP good story. You can't get that. Why do you think they've been trying to hound this man out his job? Because he's doing it well. So it is. Yeah, really well. I mean, DJs in Kirkcaldy, the new. There's Jane talking about Forth Valley Hospital. And we've all got stories of how well the NHS is looking after us. Look at David sitting there.
Yeah.
All our life experience tend to be
I should be 6 foot under.
David, all our actual experiences when we come in contact with the NHS is totally different from what we're being told.
Yeah.
Yep. So, but as I say, it's a nonsense headline, and there's an even better one, the Daily Fail. And David, you're going to take this one once and for all because you especially know about this because your wife works in this area.
Yes, okay. All right, go for it.
We'll take this other one down. Oh, come on. It's not that bad. I'm going to do a few clicks of the mouse to get there, And no doubt I need to get another one to get us back on the right place.
Let's see. That dress is very, very nice, yes, I must admit.
Yes, anyway, shocking number of overweight Scottish youngsters referred to specialist clinics. Children aged 2 treated for obesity. What a bollocks headline.
The one thing I can assure you is that children aged 2 treated for obesity. It is true. It does happen, but the the health visitors, which my wife is one of, right, of right the way throughout Scotland, we've got a great number of health visitors, and they go and look at all these children, and they see how much or a percentile they've got in terms of weight gain compared to age, all the rest of it, right? And if they discover a child that is obese, they don't tell the kid off. They go, "Oh, you stop eating," right? They talk to the parent. They talk to the parent very nicely and very straightforward, and they say, "Look, I was going to arrange a further appointment with you, maybe in a year's time or something like that. But what we'll do is I'll come back in, say, 2 months' time. We'll see how you got on with this, right?" And they explain how to feed the child so that it's not gaining weight like that. All right, because an obese child, it causes many problems going further forward when you look forward to the child growing up. Yeah.
But David, as you and I know, when the health visitor comes in, they weigh the child, they check the child's development, and if they think the child's overweight, they educate the parents and what's the right nutritional values to be given the child.
They do it. They do it in a very, very diplomatic way. My goodness me! The last thing you say to somebody is, "You're doing it wrong."
You know what I mean? You know, they ask about the feeding regime, and then the mother will say, "I'm hungry, he's crying for something to eat," but it's not crying for something to eat, it's crying for whatever reason. They're just getting that bowl stuck in their gut, and it shuts them up. You know,
they've had a pizza crunch for the past couple of nights, and they've had.
But hey, I just thought it was a cracking. It's just another one. It's another one of Scotland. You're shite at everything. What headlines, you know? All your kids are wee fat bastards, apparently.
You know, I would like to see these papers taking the word Scotsman or Scottish off their names. Shouldn't be. I thought we used to have a Trade Descriptions Act. You remember that?
Aye.
The Trade Descriptions Act effectively said that if something doesn't do as it says on the label, then it shouldn't be. Well, Scotsman newspaper? That's not a Scotsman newspaper. That's not a paper that for Scotsmen, right? So therefore, it shouldn't be called that. Scottish Daily Mail? Scottish? No, they're anti-Scottish. Aye. So therefore, they should lose that Scottish.
Right. Now, the next headline that I want to follow up, David's a cracker. An absolute fucking stormer.
Go on then.
This one made me laugh. Right, let's get the image up. And it is UK Iron Dome needed to guard against Russian attack.
Hold on, just before you carry on with that, David, Stuart Laird has put up a moot point on that last one that we did. Put it up.
Aye, they're most likely to have come across underweight children.
Yes, that's right. That they do. That they do.
Anyway, UK...
and to be honest with you, it's not something that Leslie talks about, my wife, but you can see that she is affected by some of the people that she visits. Yeah?
Aye. Right, anyway, this one cracked me up. UK Iron Dome needed to guard against Russian attack, defence review set to warn. David, as you and I have spoken about this, I mean, defence review set to warn. You know, every time there's been a defence review in my lifetime, technology has replaced people.
Yes, but it doesn't work.
No.
But it doesn't work. If you look at a Trident nuclear missile being tested in the water from a submarine, it goes up and then it turns into a cartwheel and it goes and then ends up back in the water again.
Right.
That's technology for you.
Yep. Anyway, it just cracked me up. And Iron Dome. Any idea how expensive something that would be?
Well, no, the colander that I've got, which is metal, right? It's got a handle on it. It fits my head, no bother. I think it was only about £5 or something like that.
Picture of you earning somewhere. Was it? There's something about Nicholas Army back then, wasn't it? Tin Hat Roadshow. Here
That's
they come
right. Yeah.
again. You know,
Yeah.
here they come again with their propaganda push. But UK Iron Dome, a UK Iron Dome, they can't afford the military we've got, and as we already know, it's no fit for fucking purpose.
No, hang on a second. The Patriot system is a system that's used in Israel. That's what they nickname as being the Iron Dome. Now, if America or Trump goes to Starmer, who is pro-Israel, we know that, right? Pro-Zionist. Well, maybe that Trump will come to Starmer and say, we were looking at Iceland, but we quite fancy taking over the United Kingdom as being the 51st state. How's about we give you the Patriot system? So if anybody fires a missile at you, it'll automatically work, right? And to give the Patriot system its due, it has worked in a surprising number of cases. Yeah?
Did Ronald Reagan not try what?
Well,
try to take over the UK. Oh, but Donald Trump and the Greenland nonsense.
He was having a kiss and a cuddle with Maggie. That's what it was, if I remember correctly.
Donald Trump and the Greenland nonsense. That's exactly what it is. It's nonsense.
Yeah.
He's already been told by the French and the rest of Europe and by the Danes himself, try it, you fucking muppet.
Yeah.
I mean, Donald Trump is a great example of how not to win friends and influence people. I don't think he would fit in at the World Economic Forum.
No, it's the narcissist side of it, right? What you won't see, or what you'll be unlikely to see, is Trump going into Davos and doing his usual thing of where he tries to overtake any proceedings.
Well, he did.
He won't do that.
But he tried it by Telelink.
He tried it by Telelink. That didn't work.
No. Police was pissing themselves laughing.
And like any narcissist, a narcissist will not put themselves in a position whereby they cannot take control.
Well, the other thing about it is, the interesting thing about Trump and the UK actually is that it would appear that both governments are hell bent on breaking our economies.
Yeah.
The question you've got to ask is fucking why?
Why?
I mean, we already know the answer to the problems in the UK economy. It's the fact that all the money's been concentrated in one place, and we badly need wealth redistribution because consecutive governments have sold off the family silver, and it's now all owned by people out with these islands or conglomerates within these islands. Basically, our whole form of government right now is being managed by hedge funds.
Yeah.
And that's what Schwab was on about. But as I say, but the question is, why is Trump hell-bent in breaking the UK economy? Why is Rachel Reeves and the Bank of England hell-bent in breaking the UK economy? Sorry, Trump with the US economy, and Reeves and the Bank of England hell-bent in breaking the UK economy? Why are they doing it?
You shall own nothing and be happy.
Aye. But as I say, the question, when you take a look at what they're doing in the round, I mean, when we talk about what's happening with the German economy, well, that's understandable because there's a drive towards electrification, and it just so happens that the Chinese make the cheapest and best electric motors.
Yeah.
Simple as that.
Yeah.
And of course, Trump and this guy, character Schwab, for the World Economic Forum, are all shouting about a fourth industrial revolution based on technology. Well, guess what? The Chinese have just swept their feet out from under that by putting out AI that's better than ChatGPT and putting out in a free fucking forum.
Well, we were also talking about blockchain. Schwab talks about blockchain in his video, right?
Aye.
And you look at the activities that we're seeing big on the headlines at the moment is artificial intelligence, quantum computing, right? The moment you even talk about those, and chance of those happening and coming out, which they are, blockchain is under severe pressure, and therefore Bitcoin will go down the way. Which
Aye,
it
well,
has.
we've just seen Trump crashes in fucking digital currency, haven't we? But
No. If you look at that, Trump effectively stopping all these people coming abroad. How were they paid? A lot of them were paid cash in hand by the American public. Get my grass done, and can you come and do the kids something after school, whatever, right? They were paid by cash. You take cash off them and you create a digital currency, they're not going to like it, are they?
No.
So, sorry, David, what are you looking for?
I'm waiting for the next headline because this one's funny as fuck.
Go on then.
And we're having quite a light-hearted show here. Barbara, I'll put yours up in a wee second, pal. But this one's quite funny, David. And this is the loony
Barbara,
rag.
thank you very much, Dylan. That's £20. Thank
This
you very
is the
much.
loony rag, the Express.
Tories warn splits could let SNP and Barry back go. It's great. It's great, isn't it? It really is. Hang on, we already have the keys. We don't have to go in the back door. We can go in the front door.
Funny thing is, we've got the front and back door fucking key, and Poland says we're keeping them. And the Tories warn about splits could let the SNP and the back door. I thought that was funny. I really thought that was funny.
Now, hang on. That's yet again the flying the soul tires. So they are the Scottish Daily Express, right? Okay. And you look at that and you think to yourself, why enough? Why enough? They're trying to take the feet away from reform, right? So yet again, that's creating more of a Tory split again. Because reform are, what do you think the reform supporters came from? Do you think reform knitted them? No, they didn't. They were Tories in the first place, right? So what's happening is the split is already there, right? And what you're going to find is we just need somebody else who, I don't know, somebody else to create splits on the Labour side as well, right?
Well,
that'd be fantastic.
Reform's doing that, but what's interesting about
we're talking about.
This is the Scottish Conservative Party's attempt to stop the march of reform here in Scotland, because we know that they're on the march in England.
Yeah. The wonderful thing about this is, you look at reform have got no actual leader in Scotland, right? They still rely on Farage, right? There's been no political jousting in Scotland. They haven't come out with anything. Just there.
There's no Farage touring Scotland, doing rallies the way he is in England.
No, he just got a few pints in.
But there's a reason why he's not doing rallies here in Scotland, because he knows that everybody would batter in and troll him.
Yeah, wow.
But this is the Scottish Tories' attempt to stop the march of reform, because it's likely they're going to disappear. If reform takes seats here, they'll not take them for the SNP, they'll be taking them for Labour, and they'll be taking them for the Tories.
Well, the Tory supporters are the ones that become reform supporters.
Well, as I say, but Scotland tends not to be so right leaning as England. But it would appear that the right that is here is on the rise.
Yeah, well, but they have always been here, right? What I'm trying to say is that the Conservatives, the Tory party, have failed in UK, really, really badly failed, right? What they're looking for is the next new thing. And the next new thing in the UK is, reform. All right. It was UKIP, wasn't it? Yeah, it's now called reform. Oh, right, let's put our weight behind that. That's what's happening.
I'm going to give the Conservative Party in Scotland a bit of advice, because they tend still to be centrist. Right?
No, you're talking about politicians. I'm talking about people that vote for them.
So am I. And we're talking about them going towards reform because they need something new. Well, if the Conservative Party is to survive here in Scotland, it is within their capability to give Conservatives in Scotland something new. They could break with the English Conservative Party at this point in time and become a Scottish registered party.
Yeah, that would do it. That would definitely do it.
That's why I'm saying I'm actually going to give. I don't normally give Tories advice, but I'm going to give advice.
You be careful. You be careful. You be careful. You be careful. They might be fucking listening.
Well, he probably will be. But hey, I'm going to give advice to Russell Finlay, and he can get backed up by fucking Murdo the Fudd, because Murdo the Fudd wanted to do this years ago. It's the reason why he get beat to the leadership by I think it was Ruthie at the time. Or Annabelle Goldie. Annabelle Goldie was Stone and Doon. So it'd been Jackson Carlo or something like that.
She, as a Tory, she's one of the most acceptable Tories I ever saw. Was Annabelle Goldie, because some of the stuff she came out with was absolutely sensible.
The thing about Annabelle was she was around at the beginning of the Parliament, and she was into consensus politics.
Yes, that's
right.
And
she knew that the Scottish Parliament gave them a chance to build something different. But it wasn't until after Annabelle retired that and then, of course, the chance of the referendum, that we seen the unionist, hardline unionist side come out in Labour and Conservative. You know?
Yeah.
Because at the start of the Parliament, it was quite a consensus place. You know, first administration Labour, second administration was a coalition.
Yeah.
Third administration, minority SNP government. Who got their policies through with the backing of the Scottish Conservatives and Annabelle Goldie.
Yeah.
Then on to the majority with Alec, and then the referendum, and the rest fucking history, of course. But
that's right.
To say, Annabelle was a lot more sensible. But Tories one split could let SNP. It's just the Tories are in a panic here. And as I say, if Russell Finlay wants to actually give the Conservatives voters here in Scotland something new to vote for, you should think about taking the party away from the Westminster main party at the moment. Because let's face it,
don't give Finlay a moment's thought.
I'd rather Finlay and his idiots in that Parliament than Farage and their idiots.
Well, to me, sorry to say it, actually word something that I've heard about the SNP, but they're all the fucking same. No, Reform and Tory are the same. All they are. They've taken off one rosette and they've put another one on. That's it.
I am going to mention this headline as we battle towards the end of the show, David. And that is the Land and the Sun today. Now, I don't put the Sun up, I don't promote Murdoch's rag, but it's always there in the paper review, you know what I mean? Mm. And the Sun has lads drone kills Brit boy Jamie 18 dies on first mission.
I'll let you take this one, David, because unlike myself, I've never experienced war firsthand like you have.
You don't have to, David. Right? You have to have a brain in your head.
Yeah.
The problem is these kids are in their bedroom playing with fucking machines where when they get hot on their screens, it's a reset button.
Aye. Yeah.
These kids are not being taken apart, trained, put into dangerous situations where they can hone their skills. Whether that be in a live fire exercise or in a real theatre of war. How did this 18-year-old boy end up in Ukraine on his first mission?
A few weeks back, we actually discussed about the North Koreans sending a number of the personnel from their army to the Russian front to support the Russians, right? And yeah, exactly that. They went there to get battle hardened. You went to a big training place in Canada to get you battle hardened, ready for a real war.
What was called live firing exercises, where everything around you except for the bullets were real.
Yeah.
You know, If we were blowing something up, it was fucking going up in the air.
Yeah.
You know? And then of course there are the pyrotechnics there that give you the very noise of war. They get you used to the idea of having this gunfire going after and about you and things like that. You get battle hardened before you hit a battle zone. This kid managed to get to Poland and through into Ukraine, and it's no hard. They've got recruiting sergeants all the way along the Polish entry because they are desperate for manpower.
Yeah.
But how is it that somebody managed to let their relative, an 18-year-old boy, get on a plane and become a volunteer to enter that fucking meat grinder?
Well,
and I blame it on the way that we glorified war here.
Yeah.
And the way that the kids' computer games glorify war.
I think certainly there was a part about that going, right? I can't. The only thing I've got to go on is Alex, my son. He was in the army, and my daughter, Katie. Can I imagine any one of them actually going to Ukraine to support that? No, I really can't. I really honestly can't.
Well, don't get me wrong, there's a few bampots have done it, David.
Yeah.
A few of these idiots think they consider themselves to be dogs of war.
Yeah.
But no many. And anybody who has a young relative who's thinking about this, talk them out to it. It takes a long time to break down a man and build him back up again as a soldier.
Yeah. I can imagine.
You can't get a kid off the fucking street and a couple of weeks later put him in a uniform and out in the field.
Yeah.
Can it be done? Just
well, the kids that I used to see in Vimy, which is the army's training place down the road northeast, they were challenged individuals. They weren't happy, let's say, because they were being taken apart at the time. Simple as that, both mentally and physically.
No, you're right. At Disney, and the idea of a battle zone, training is to get you get normalised with things like the noise of war.
Yeah.
It allows you to think through that noise. It allows you to survive because you're able to think through it.
Yeah.
So, but the whole idea, Mr. E, as I say, it's no experience, it's no actual interior experience, but it gets you hardened and ready for what you're about to experience.
Put up Gordon as that thing there. He's saying that computer games are not the problem. Go on. Sure. I appreciate that, Gordon. I think it's an age thing. I think at the time, if there was a conflict, as in Ukraine and Russia, perhaps there could be a situation where you were literally talked into it. So it's different strokes for different folks.
That's the other thing.
Come on, I can imagine that.
You've got to be trained to do it.
Yeah. Me, I'd be the fool that says, I'd be pointing the gun, I'll be going, will you pull the trigger first, because I'm not going to. Yeah, something like that.
What we have to say, folks, is if you have a young relative who's thinking about undertaking such an endeavour, talk them out of it.
Yeah.
Talk them out of it. Right. And just for a bit of comedy, David, because we're not going to do this again, we'll be back to a normal format on Thursday.
Oh, no, this is good. No, I think we should do this all the time. This was brilliant.
No, because I've got a programme that does it in the fucking morning. But because the viewers missed this morning, may as well give them it. And here's the Daily Star's headline today, folks, because we always like to end up with a wee bit of humour.
Yes.
So let's get this up. The Daily Star.
Oh, yes.
Trouble and eke as global warming means hoodlum rats run amok in our cities. Squeaky blinders. I don't know anything about the programme or anything like that, but hoodlum rats. Love it, David. And global
No,
warming.
I did say to you earlier on, it's like what we should do is contact the Pied Piper. Now remember the story of the Pied Piper? He played the flute and it went right. We've got our own department that deals with that. Right? Hello there. Is that the Orange Lodge? Hey, we'd like to speak to the Pied Piper, please. Hang on a sec. I'll just pop you on hold while we find the right person. Sorry about the music, hold music, but it's your call is important. Fuck's sake, man, you couldn't make it up. Honestly, couldn't make it up.
Anyway, you and I have had a wee discussion on this, and it's more likely the booming rats is because, as we know, there's less people in city centres now, David, because of online shopping. But it's more likely that in our cities that it's the fact that the bins are only getting emptied every 3 weeks now.
That's precisely what it is. If you increase the availability of food for the rats, you will increase their numbers. They will look at that as being automatically, let's have sex and have loads of babies, right? And therefore, that's it, right? Now, if you look at the situation, it's rather ironic. Because of online shopping, Glasgow itself is like bloody, well, it's not, but it's like a ghost town, let's say, right? Compared to what I knew. And the number of people in Glasgow is going way down. Number of rats going way up. So therefore, if the shops could find out what it is the rats are after, right? Maybe like hats or whatever, right? Perhaps they could open up all of the shops.
But, folks, as you can see, it's a bit of fun one today, but with some serious stuff in it, like the Joseph Rowntree Foundation support, and the fact that the people of England are starting to question their social contract with their governments as they start to look at the idea that child poverty is falling in Scotland but rising everywhere else in the UK. That's starting to be a bit of a wake-up call for people.
Yeah.
But, we're coming to the end of this one, David. The hour's nearly up.
Well, I'm gonna use your motto, if you like, along with mine, which is keep your politics in your back pocket, keep your eyes on the prize, and it's time for independence, independence, independence. Look at all this shite, and that is the most important thing that we in Scotland can do, is achieve our independence. We need it.
Right, the folks, tune in at Young Reagan Elite's channel, tune in to Max William Roxbeer, Political X, Big Mad Studios, Sarosa, the Scotland channel, even Gordon Ross. Look elsewhere for your information, because, as you know, I do the paper report in the morning because the bollocks is in the paper. And David and I generally, what we'll do is we'll discuss the main themes in Scotland and England of the week. But the main theme this week is that actually, if we just keep doing what we're doing, maybe we can change things for the better in England and Wales as they start to look a wee bit harder at the social contract we have with our government.
Dead right. But most important thing is, if you look at the newspaper that shelves that are up there in front of you as you go into a local supermarket, you'll notice the most important thing those newspapers have got is their headlines. And their headlines are, if you look at the papers that are unionist, you'll notice by and large they are Scotland shite or SNP shite. So that's it.
Aye. But anyway, folks, you're tuned in great numbers. You've been very generous today. Yes. And I'd like to thank the mods. I'm very glad that the stream's working again, because I'd have to carry on having to delete the app and then reinstall it. So at least
in actual fact, he just pressed the wrong fucking button.
That wasn't it at all, David.
I'm only kidding you on.
That last update, my stream hasn't been right, so Deleting it and then reinstalling it seems to work.
You should never put old men in charge of a computer.
That's pretty good advice, actually. Right, that's 5 o'clock, so keep your eyes on the prize, folks. Right, you're up, Mulligan.
Right. Independence, independence, independence.
Right.
Your eye in your back pocket, your politics in your back pocket, and keep your eyes on the prize.
Get out
What's
there.
the prize?
Get out there and talk to people. We've got
Yeah.
to change hearts and minds. Bye for now. I'll away and to get the notification up for the next stream. And the notification's already up for the Indie Truck Davies show tomorrow morning, folks. See you at 10.
Bye, Davey. Bye, guys.
Bye, David. Don't be